The President recognizes my good friend, Senator Barrett.
Thank you, Madam President. And thank you for the opportunity to share a few of my thoughts and to thank so many of the people who have been instrumental in my ability to serve in the legislature for these last 8 years. You know, my life has been blessed with many adventures. When I graduated high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do for a career, so I decided to join the Army and enlisted my Christmas break my senior year of high school, and then left on the first airplane ride of my life as soon as I graduated to go to basic training at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. And when I left basic training, I swore I would never go back to Oklahoma again. And then 8 years later, by total coincidence, I married an Okie. And we go back to Oklahoma every year. We just got back a couple of days ago. When I was considering running for Congress, Ashley asked me if I would be able to handle it if I didn't win. And I told her, honestly, I never expected to make it this far. And I feel like I've been on borrowed time from the moment I got elected in the very first place. I really wasn't even supposed to win my first race for the state house. I launched my campaign for the 71st House District just over 9 years ago. I'd moved back home to Michigan after graduating from flight school at Fort Rucker, Alabama, a couple of years prior. By the fall of 2013, our son Patrick was just a few months old, and Ashley and I were adjusting to life as first-time parents. I ran in a district against an incumbent who had won the prior election by about 3,000 votes, and I had virtually no name ID when I started. What could possibly go wrong? Meanwhile, Ashley was preparing to sit for the Michigan bar exam that summer. Oh yeah, we also found out she was pregnant again and due the same week of the bar exam, which was also just a few days before the August primary election. Somehow we survived after months of Ashley getting up early to study, me campaigning door to door all day, and her teaching me the lessons she had studied that day. The bar exam came and she took the test while 9 months pregnant. Eleonora, our daughter, was born in August. In November, I won the election by exactly 148 votes. And 2 days later, we got the news that Ashley had passed the bar exam. It was quite an adventure. Since then, I had the privilege of being reelected in 2016 and then elected to this office in 2018. I've cast 4,776 roll call votes, minus whatever we did today, I haven't tallied that up, and sponsored more than 36 bills that have been signed into law. This adventure took me all the way to the Oval Office to meet with the President of the United States and to knocking on the door of the United States Congress. And while I didn't get the answer I wanted, I have no regrets about any of it. I also continued my career in the Army and logged nearly 600 flight hours after my election to the Michigan legislature. I like to say that I was a fly-by-night politician. And it all started with that 148 vote margin. I truly couldn't have done it without so many people that are here today, and I want to thank you, starting, of course, with my family. I love you guys. To my mom and dad, or as the kids call you, Mima and Dee Dee, thank you so much for the sacrifices you made to raise a family with 7 kids. All of us have so much respect for both of you, especially now that nearly all of us have kids of our own. The values and faith that you taught me have carried me through each challenge in my life. Dee Dee, you've sparked my interest in politics, and I'm so thankful that I was able to share this experience with you. Thank you so much to you and Mom for believing in me and supporting me on every one of these campaigns. I want to tell you, though, that come January, you'll have to go back to asking Brandy your political insider questions because I won't be here to answer them for you. To my wife, Ashley, thank you for signing up to join me on this crazy life. I don't know which is harder, being an Army wife or being a candidate's wife, but you've supported me in both. When I was deployed, when I came home, when I decided to stay in the Army and follow my dream to go to flight school, and when I made the difficult decision to retire earlier this year, you shouldered the burden of countless responsibilities with the kids while I focused on each campaign. We did it together, and we did it because it mattered. But day in and day out, it was hard. And I want to thank you so much for all of it. To my kids, Patrick, Eleonora, Gwendolyn, and Lewis, You guys reminded me a little while ago that the only time you had been to a parade was when we were participating in it. Your whole lives, you've only known me as the dad who was in the Army and as an elected official. Both of those are now coming to a close, and while it's not the outcome I'd hoped for, I'm confident that it will be to the benefit of our family and our ability to spend more time together. Patch, you're a natural leader, and I know you'll grow up to do great things. I'm excited for you to earn your black belt soon. I'm excited to watch some more football together and to play a lot more catch as well. Eleonora, you're such a sweet little girl that has been on this ride with me since you were literally a newborn. I remember when we drove past a giant billboard in the spring that had a message attacking me on it. I told you that the people who put the billboard up didn't really like me very much, and you said, "Well, I still love you, Dad." I love how much you love animals and how kind you are to everyone. I promise that we'll go on a date together to your favorite restaurant, Subway, soon. Gwenny, you are growing up and becoming really independent. I can't believe you are already in kindergarten. Mom and I are so excited to see you continue to grow up and mature. I'm excited to play some of your family games that you've created and to take all of you fishing again soon. But please quit rolling around in the mud at school. Lewis, you're the only one who will be too young to remember any of this, but you've been such a great addition to our family. Some of your first steps were right here on the Senate floor, and we are excited for you to grow up and show us who you will be someday. But you'll have to ask the other kids about what it was like to do 3 parades a day on the 4th of July. To my Chief of Staff, Ron, thank you for taking a chance on me 9 years ago when you decided to sign up as my campaign manager when you barely knew me. It's hard to believe that we went door to door using paper lists and then drove up and down the rural highways of Eaton County in that old Ford Focus station wagon with no air conditioning. I remember you had to manually upload all of our data every day and then cut new lists for the next day, but you stuck with me each campaign and each new adventure. I can't imagine having anyone else by my side this whole time, and you're going to be a part of our family forever. Thank you. To Brandy, Ashley and I literally couldn't imagine our lives without you. Could you have predicted 20 years ago when we were college kids that this is where we would end up? I want you to know, though, that after much reflection on the last election, that I determined the reason we lost is because we changed the campaign logo. Thank you for all of your last-minute graphic design work, for stepping in to fill the gap when I couldn't get home in time for something, for keeping the trains running on time with the scheduling, for staying on me to make my phone calls and follow up and all the other things I had to do, but most importantly, thank you for being such a great friend. Tim, I think you hold the record for having the greatest margin of victory in any of the campaigns we ran. I still have you in my phone as Albion College student since I stored your contact that way 8 years ago. I'll make sure to update it to say Albion College graduate. Thank you for always putting up with me, for all you did over the last 8 years. NFIB is so lucky to have you, and I know you will do great things for them. Alec, thank you for all of your thankless and tireless work on my campaign in 2018 and this year. I know you put your entire heart and soul in this race. It means more to me than you will ever know. You have a tremendous future ahead of you, and don't let this year's election discourage you. Thank you for everything you did for me and my family and never complaining to me, even when you certainly could have. Trevor, what can I say, man? When we were roommates after college, I didn't expect to be giving this speech someday. Thank you for coming back from political retirement, for being so loyal, and for always anticipating what would help me out and for making sure that I always got something to eat. You're awesome. I really appreciate it. Brendan, thank you for taking a chance on politics. You're young and you have so many talents to offer. Whether you stay in politics or go pursue another career opportunity, please know that you have made a real difference for so many people here in Michigan. Blake, I'm so glad you decided to sign up as an intern in my office so long ago. I wish this road wasn't ending this way because you are so good at what you do. I know you're moving to Georgia and it will be Michigan's loss to see you leave, but I have the highest confidence that you will excel at whatever you do next. And Danny couldn't be here. I know you're stuck in Georgia right now, but thank you for your tireless work and a special thank you for everything you did for my kids and for always making them feel special. The kids ask me if you are going to be at everything now. I'm actually surprised they didn't ask if you were going to be at Thanksgiving this year. You're awesome, and we love you for it, but P.S., Pat still asks about your Jeep. To Tom Leonard and Janelle, thank you for being such loyal and true friends. Politics is a brutal sport where you seem to lose more friends by the day, but you and Janelle have stood by me and supported me every single step of this journey. I don't know where our future leads, but I can't think of anyone better to spend it with and to bounce ideas off of, so thank you for being in the trenches. To everyone else who had a role in serving the people of my district and the people of the state, thank you. Jeremiah, you're a great writer. Fish, you have a great work ethic and a moral compass for true north. Senator Daley is fortunate to have you. Laurel, congratulations on becoming a new mom. I know you will do great. To our sergeants here on the Senate floor, thank you for your work, your friendship, your conversations on so many occasions. I so deeply appreciate each of you. To our Senate policy and fiscal staff, particularly Bruce Baker, thank you for putting up with me and some of the challenges of putting together state budgets with particular interests and provisions that I wanted to include. Thank you for everything you did to keep me on track. To the rest of my campaign team, Megan, Aaron, Mary, the team at Templar, thank you for putting up with me. You guys are so awesome. Jason, thank you for pushing me and listening to my voice during this campaign. I feel like you became like an older brother to me during this race, mostly because you are so much older than I am. But seriously, thank you for investing your talents into my campaign. To my seatmates, Pat Somerville, Jim Tedder, in my first term, I miss you guys and I miss the experience of serving together. To Joe Bellino and Steve Johnson, I can't think of a more odd couple arrangement in the legislature. But honestly, some of my favorite memories here were sitting between the two of you on the House floor for hours at a time. Joe, babe, I know you will make a great senator. Steve, you will do amazing at whatever you have next. Your focus, drive, and intellect will serve you well. To Ruth Johnson and Kim Lasada, thank you for putting up with me and keeping me on track here on the Senate floor. I'm going to miss our conversations and bringing my kids to say hi and hang out for a little while. To my gang of conservative dissenters, Senator Tice, chief among them, Senator Runstead, Bumstead, Johnson, McBroom, Nesbitt, thank you for sticking your necks out with me. And Lana, you won't have to compete with me for the conservative voting record next cycle. To my fellow Army buddy, Senator Ollier, I really enjoyed our work together on committees, our conversations here on the floor, our swapping of Army stories, the visits to each other's districts, and the time I took you on that helicopter ride after session one day. I'm sorry we won't be able to serve in Congress together. Maybe the lesson from the last election is that Army officers who serve as state senators do not make successful congressional candidates. In all seriousness, thank you for being a friend beyond the partisan alliances that we hold. And to the people of the 71st and House District and 24th Senate District, thank you for your trust and confidence to be your voice for a time here. This is a responsibility that I never took for granted and one that I will remember fondly, even in spite of the challenges that came with this position. To each of you, my colleagues in this legislative class, thank you for putting up with me. I know that I can be occasionally stubborn, but whether you agree with me or not, I hope that you found me to be an honest debater and a worthy adversary. I'll miss some of the disagreements we had here on the floor, some of the daily Hertel homilies about what our side was doing wrong each day. I know I had my differences or different disagreements with just about each of you at one time or another, but I respect all of you and the job that you do and the position that you hold. Now just don't do anything I wouldn't do next year. Someday when I die, hopefully a good long while from now, we'll read a memorial resolution here on the Senate floor. And while I'm proud of my time here in this office, I do not want this to be the defining achievement of my life. Our lives are about so much more than the titles and the positions that we hold. Barbara Bush said, "When all the dust is settled and all the crowds are gone, the things that matter are faith, family, and friends." I couldn't agree more. I'm leaving here exactly with what I came with: my faith, my family, my friends, and with no regrets. Thank you, Madam President.